What the hell? A bit of a bitch. Hello my loves, if you're new here, my name is Lily. I am an anxious girl who loves to read, and if you're not new here, then welcome back. We are doing a 24-hour readathon because I'm home alone and I thought what better time to do another one than when I'm undisturbed, you know? But the thing is, so we're going to do it maybe a little bit differently to the way we did it last time because, well, there are multiple reasons why. I am starting to get a little bit sick and I don't want to worsen that by not sleeping and not taking care of myself or my space. So I have things that I need to do, like house related things, well, apartment related things, and I also need sleep for my own mental well-being and physical health. So those are priorities and those come before reading for 24 hours, but I might do it over 2 days, like 12 hours each day. I might do it over 3 days, which would be 8 hours each day. It really depends on my well-being, what I have the energy for, just how, multiple factors. So we'll see how this, they just got louder probably than they've been the entire day, just because I'm filming. Not that they know, but I feel like they're doing it to spite me at this point. It's already kind of late in the day because I got a late start because, as I said, I'm not feeling that well. But we're gonna see how this goes. If I don't finish the 24-hour readathon this time, then I don't. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I don't want to feel too much pressure to finish a whole bunch of books and to read really fast and yada yada yada. I just want to have undisturbed reading time where I just can immerse myself in books. And if I read one book during this readathon, then that is amazing. And if I read 6, then that is equally as amazing. But we're not rushing and we're not, you know, pushing through just because we feel some performative need. No, that is not the space. This is not the space for that here. We are all just book lovers and welcome, and you know that audiobooks count, ebooks count, physical books count, because it's all reading. Time is gonna run either way. But this is my little pile. I picked out 4 books that I like immediately caught my eye, where I was like, I'd want to pick these up. And that's these 4. And we also, of course, have my Kindle on top. The book that's in here is a book that I read recently and finished, did not like it. So that's not the book that we might want to pick from my Kindle. But just if I stop wanting to read something physically and I want to switch to reading on my Kindle, then I can pick any book from my Kindle and pick it up and read it during the readathon. And then we have the physical books, and we have Not In My Book, which I got for my birthday this year. And this just, it looks so cute. 2 rival writers, 1 epic love story. Like, isn't that just kind of a classic at this point, where we have a romance book with 2 writers and they don't fall in love, plot twist. They don't love each other. No, I'm just kidding. And they fall in love. Then we have another romance book, which is Mia Sheridan's Unnatural. I love the Archer's Voice. When I saw this, I was like, I really want to read this. And then we have 2 fantasy picks. And one is Servants of Earth. I have heard amazing things about this only. The cover is so pretty. I love these kinds of fantasy covers. And 6 Deadly Trials, 1 Ruthless Heart, 1 reader who sold on this book. That sounds like exactly my cup of tea. And then we have a book from my actual October TBR, and that's The Coven. And this is less than 300 pages apparently, so we might just start with this just to get into it. And then we also have a 5th book that I am currently reading, which I am listening to, and that is Love's a Witch. I'm gonna put in the cover somewhere here because I can't find my phone. A witchy, fun, cozy romance. It's kind of whimsical. I'm like 2 hours in. I listened to it an hour earlier today, which is when the readathon unofficially started. So we are gonna remove an hour because I started the timer then, so I have like 23 hours left. The official readathon starts now, but I've already kind of started a bit earlier. That is it. That's all she wrote. Let's stop yapping and get to reading. First book has been read, and it took me far longer to get through this than I thought it would. I listened to like an hour and a half or something of the audiobook Love's a Witch. I'm really liking that one. I think it's really like quirky and sweet and light-hearted. This was not light-hearted, which I didn't think it was going into it, but it was also like, I mean, the end was interesting, but the rest, like, I had a difficult time getting into it. I felt like there was a lot of things mentioned and not explained, and then there was a lot of things mentioned that were explained that I really felt like this didn't have that much to do with the story, maybe. And then the romance just, it moved too fast. Everything kind of moved too fast, I feel like. And this is under 300 pages, and like I could sense it within the story. The story wasn't written to be this short. It felt like the story was compressed to be under 300 pages, and everything felt rushed and undeveloped because of that. So I didn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't connect with the romance. I didn't feel like the romance was a romance, which made the end kind of like, really? You did that for the person you claim to love when you've like known each other for not that long, you know? It's gonna be a 2-star. We're not starting very strong, and I don't really vibe with, you know, love interests who remove clothes when the main character is unconscious and think sexual thoughts about them when they're unconscious, and who just, the first thing that they see on the FMC's body is that like she's got big boobs. Oh, that's sexy. Like I don't find MMCs who think that way very sexy. Those were my issues, and that's why it's a 2-star. Now, I don't know what I want to read next. I don't know if I want to read a physical book next, or, I mean, it's almost 9:30, it's 9:18 in the evening, and I feel like when I go to bed I'm gonna want to read something on my Kindle before I sleep. I feel like maybe for my eyes' sake a Kindle read would be easier. That's probably my plan. We have 19 hours and 42 minutes left. I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook a bit as I make supper, fill this out in my reading journal, or I might just do that tomorrow. But what I do know I want to do is I want to continue with my 2026 journal, because I've started my 2026 spreads. I know it's early, but it takes time to do it. So I'd rather be early than late and have to stress to finish it before 2026 starts. That's the plan. And then I'm gonna start the female, and then I'm gonna go to bed eventually. But that's the update. Let's continue. Heading to bed. I'm 15 hours and 55 minutes into this readathon, which means that we've completed the first 8 hours, and I'm probably going to stretch it out over 3 days. I'm like 50% into the female, which is like 200 pages almost, little less, and I'm having a good time so far. I mean, it's definitely a little bit out there, but we like a little Gracie, you know? A little bit of demons, a little bit of a crazy, weird world building that's also kind of disturbing in many ways, but I hope that's going to change since it's a longer series. Yeah, it's spicy, but it's fun and entertaining, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. And that's about it really. I'm probably gonna read a little more and probably listen to my audiobook as I get ready for bed and continue the timer, and then I'll probably read another chapter or two just right before I sleep. Nighty night, sleep tight. Well, you're not sleeping, but I'm sleeping, so cut to me not sleeping. Update time, it's the next day and I'm almost done with the female. Now I didn't vlog very much this morning because I basically just lay in bed, read for a bit, got up, ate breakfast, packaged some books that I had on hold, went to the store, grocery shopped and sent those books off. Also picked up a couple of books. So we're gonna do a little bit of a haul in the middle of this readathon because one of the things is actually going to be a part of the readathon, and it came with such perfect timing because I'm doing a readathon and I really want this thing. So, but the female, I think I have like 2 chapters left of this. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's a bit shallow, and considering the world building, I would have liked if it was a little bit, like if it had a bit more depth, both with the relationships she creates with the demon love interest. There's 3 of them, and I do like their dynamics and like those aspects, but I would have wanted the world building aspect to be a bit more critical. It's not really like, it's understood that it's a problem because in this world women are going extinct, fewer and fewer women are being born, therefore women are a big, like, everyone wants a woman but not everyone can get a woman because there's not enough, like, the female population has dwindled, and so women are sold pretty much, which is disgusting. But it's understood that it's disgusting, but it's not made out to be as big of a problem as I think it should be, considering how like vile it is, and that's bothering me quite a bit. I would have liked them to have like deeper conversations before they actually like started to like each other. They're more like lusting after each other, and the demons are definitely very much so like, we are not doing anything with you without your absolute excited consent. That is yours to give and yours only. They're very strong on that point, but I would have wanted certain things to be more conversations about, to reassure her and to like create that emotional connection between the love interest. Now it's just like, oh, she's comfortable with us now, lust kind of. So it's looking to be a 3-star, I think, but we'll see how the book ends with the last 2 chapters. I've listened a bit more to Love's a Witch. I think I've listened to like an hour and a half of that one, so I am halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through. And again, I'm enjoying it. It's fun, it's quirky. They have like magical beings that are really cute and they can communicate with their familiars, and one of the familiars absolutely loves she's, and it's just, it's really, it's a stark contrast to this one, but I'm really having a good time with it. Our first package isn't a book, but it's book related, and I think that counts because I've been working on my reading journal. Oh, I got something for free because I didn't buy this. That's nice. One of these is not the colors I thought it would be. I've been working on my 2026 reading journal, and I need to decide what like key colors I want to use with the things that I am filling in, because I can't really design everything around it if I don't know the color schemes. So I ordered 3 pencils in the colors that I thought that I would want to use in 2026. This is the one that I'm not sure about. I think you already have this pink, and it's the pink that I didn't like that I used in 2025, because I would want the pink to be a bit more pastel pink. I have a pastel pink color, but that one doesn't really show up. Like, it's so pale that you can't really see that it's pink or that it's filled in. And then I wanted to go for a bit more like brownish colors. I don't know why my camera's not focusing. There we go. Is that why influencers do that? Because it actually works. But I'm gonna swap these on some paper and see what I think, and maybe I'll return that one. Next we have, why is this so big? Have they sent me the wrong? Because the one that said it was this doesn't feel like a paperback or the size it's supposed to be. This feels massive. What the hell? I mean, it's the right book, but why is it like this? It's made like, this is a new release. It was released recently. I absolutely love Ali Hazelwood, and I have been waiting for my copy for so long. This is the original version, right? That it's green. Or is the original purple? I've seen so many different color renditions of this that I don't know which one's the right one. Why is it like this? Like all, and I'm talking all of my other Ali Hazelwood books are like this. This is Bride, and every single Ali Hazelwood book I own are in the same format. This size pocket, this like type of coat, this is like not matte, the opposite of matte, and it's smooth. This one's very dry, and it's not the same binding, and it's not the same paper. Why? Just why? Is this because Amazon just took the words inside and then printed it on Amazon's own? I don't they don't match. I don't like it. Imagine how pretty it would have been if they matched, but they don't. I really want to read this, so there's no sending this back because I need it, and I don't want to wait for a different copy, but that annoys me. That annoys me so much. This I bought from Vinted, but it's copies of books that I have already read that I absolutely love, and I read this trilogy like 5 times. I reread them recently. I'm talking just like a couple of days ago. I finished the last one, and I need a knife probably, but I saw these on Vinted, and I don't think these are sold anymore, and they were really cheap. Like, I saw them and I was like, you're selling these 3 for the like price of 1? But I wasn't gonna say anything, so I just bought them before someone else could. Oh, it's open this way, I think. Hello? What type of design is this? Oh, it's because there's more tape. It's not a bad design, it's just that I'm stupid. I'm also tired, so my brain isn't braining. Here we go. Oh. Things are going well for little old me. Oh, they're very well packaged. Like, very well packaged. Which we love. I have been wanting these for I'm talking years. It's the hardback Clockwork Angel, The Infernal Devices books. Look how stunning these are. When I got back into reading and reading in the way I do now, it was like in 2018, 2019 that started. And Red Queen was one of the first series that, or the first series that I read then that made me like fall back in love with reading, because I'd read as a child, you know. But this was also one of the series that made me fall in love. And I remember watching Brittany the Bibliophile on YouTube. She was one of the first, if not the first booktuber that I started watching, because I started reading before I knew that BookTok and BookTube was a thing. And I saw her, she had these copies, and she had the Lady Midnight ones in hardback as well, but she had these specifically, and I was obsessed with them and desperately wanted them. Look at how pretty they are. I'm obsessed. Alright, that was my update. That was the little haul and update, and now this place looks like a mess. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit, finish reading the female, listen to an audiobook as I'm organizing, cleaning up a little bit, probably make myself a little snack because I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, and then we'll just continue with this readathon. I have 12 hours and 39 minutes left. Let's go. Listen. Do I have 8 hours left and could technically stop for today and do the last 8 hours tomorrow like I planned? Yes. Am I going to? No. Because, so good. So good. I'm 220 pages in, which is like pretty much exactly halfway. And oh my god, I am so, I've been swallowed by this. This is so good. For some reason, I didn't really vibe with the beginning. Like, not like I didn't like the beginning, but I just had a difficult time being like enveloped by the story immediately with the like throwbacks, you know? But then the throwback stopped and we were just in present day, and then I was just enveloped, and now I can't get out. I don't want to get out. I don't want to find the door. Hide it from me. Just keep me in here. If you've read Mate and you're like, I need another book like this, like another werewolf book that gives the same vibes as Mate, The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata or Shift Awards by Kelly St. Clair. I never see anyone talk about these two books. I've never seen like The Things We Water be mentioned on Book Talk. I've never seen Shift Awards be mentioned on Book Talk, and maybe that's just my feed that has sucker punched me and been not very kind to me and not showing me anyone hyping those books. But they give this gives the same vibes as those books. So if you need something like Mate to scratch that itch that Mate does, read one of those two, or both of them preferably, because they're so good. But this is amazing. I didn't love Cohen at first because I was like, yes, we love a brusque, broody man, but he was also like a little bit of a bitch, and I was like, I don't know if I'm vibing with this. Then we got the little snippets from his thoughts at the beginning of each chapter, and with each one I'm like, I'm falling in love with him little by little, you know, just as the story progresses and you see more into him and behind that like facade, and I'm like swooning at this point. I feel I'm getting sicker, or maybe I'm just plateauing, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all of that, because I've had some fever sweats, like, you know, when you feel like you're freezing but then you're really sweating. So I've been taking my shirt off and being in just a linen, like a single top. I have a tiny top underneath here, and then I start getting really cold and stop sweating, and I'm like, cold, I need to get warm, and so I put the shirt back on, and then back and forth, which is annoying. And I feel you can tell by my hair at this point. And I feel like I'm twinning with Serena, because Serena has fever peaks and fever sweats and sweats through literal bedding. So, you know, sadly it's not happening to me because I'm a werewolf human hybrid. Wish it were. I'm just plain sick because I'm a weak, puny little human. So like my life isn't nearly as interesting as hers, and the reasoning for her fever sweats, which is also like, yeah, I don't really wish to be in her shoes, because my fever hopefully won't me, but hers might. So you know, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading this, and I'll probably binge it I probably won't sleep until it's done. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna get to reading now. It's the next day, obviously, and yesterday I was quite productive. I finished Mate, which oh my god, Ella Hazelwood can't lose. Like, in Ali we trust, and I need her to write more paranormal romances because the tension, the banter, the vibes, the magic, the stakes, like, so good. The only reason it's not a 5-star is because it was a little bit difficult for me to get into it in the beginning. I was a little bit disoriented. I don't know if that's because it's been a while since I read Bride or what that was because. And the ending felt, not the ending, but like the climax of the conflict, if you will, pardon my pun, was a little bit rushed. Just a little bit rushed. I felt like I got a little bit of whiplash with what happened at the climax, funnily enough. So that's why it's gonna be a 4.5 star. I loved it. This is, as I said yesterday, the kind of werewolf romance that really scratches that werewolf romance itch in my brain. Just Ali's writing is just, it just consumes you. I don't know what kind of scientific drug she puts into her books and her words, but they just flow so easily in my brain. Like, it's I mean, some words I don't understand, where she just throws in some extremely smart thing out of nowhere, but somehow it still like flows so easily in my brain and still makes sense. And that's she has skill. I love the side characters too. Like, I talked about this with my friends. Ali somehow manages to create really fleshed out side characters, even though the side characters aren't very much in focus, or like they're in a couple of scenes here and there. They're not like, we don't spend very much time with them, but we still get really fleshed out side characters, and that takes skill. So like, props to her for that. I also, in between reading Mate, I finished Love's a Witch, that audiobook. And it was fun, it was quirky. There was like a couple of things why I got bored at times. I feel like it was quite slow and it felt a little bit repetitive. However, I loved the quirky characters. I loved the like storyline. I thought that was like the magic, the curse, all of that was really fun. Well, fun, but yeah, it was really fun. And it caused tension with like the romance. However, that tension with the romance dissipated like that. I would have wanted that tension to stay for longer, because that was like kind of a big thing. That's why it's gonna be a 3-star. But I loved the, what were they called, ember dragons? Like, she received this magical creature as her familiar, and he was just like obsessed with cheese, and just, he was the cutest, like a little puppy but with wings, who like flew around and just always wanted cheese, and he was really cute. So I love a magical sidekick in like any books. And that brings us to, we have 6 hours and like 11 minutes or something left. I don't know what I want to go for. I have 3 books left on my TBR. So the thing is, we could go for one of the romances, because we feel like palette cleanser time, you know. I also really want to read Seventh of Earth, and I could make this a readathon where I just read fantasy. Should we just go for it? Should we just make it 24 hours of just fantasy? Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing that. Let's go. I am just like 40 pages in, like not far, but this is giving me OG Book Talk vibes. quick little finishing update before I hop into bed. The 24 hours are up, the alarm buzzed, and we are done. I think I'm going to like sum everything up tomorrow when I woken up and I'm a bit more eloquent and the lighting's a bit better. I don't have much left of this. I almost read the whole thing. I'm 319 pages in, so I have a little over 100 pages left, and this is so good. I just devoured this. I got so enveloped. This is giving me old school book talk vibes. Like, again, old school book talk vibes. Like, if you like this, you should read A Dance of Lies, or if you've read A Dance of Lies and you like that one, you should read this one, because they give me the same, like, they're very different from each other, but they give me the same feeling and the same vibe. And there's also like elements that are slightly similar, that like you don't really know who the love interest is. There's a lot of secrets, there's spying, there's mysteries. The FMC is always at a disadvantage because of reasons that differ massively between the two books, but like that aspect is similar. If you like one, you should read the other. It's also like it's giving slight, like very, very slight minimal Akata vibes, just because she's stuck in a fake court. It's a lot gorier than I expected it to be. It's, you know, power-hungry, evil ruler who is absolutely horrid and do horrid stuff to people. And it's also with these like different courts that the magic has sorted them into different courts, which, you know, is kind of similar to them being under the mountain in Akata. Like the under the mountain aspect of it, just with the like face structure, not with the romantic. Like the romance is very much a subplot, very much a subplot. Like this is not a romantasy in the way that book talk and people are now using romantasy. I don't like using romantasy because I think it's diminishing to female fantasy authors, because no one ever calls a male fantasy author's book a romantasy, even though it has more romantic aspects than a lot of the female written fantasy books do, but that's a whole different discussion. But definitely not a romantasy. The main plot is definitely like the FMC, what she's going through, what she has to do, the secrets, the plot, like all of that's very much the main focus. And then there's a little sprinkling of possible romance, but that sprinkling is like enough that every time she interacts with one of them, I'm like, ooh. And then there's one of the men or fae that I'm like, I know you appear to be a good guy, but I do not trust you. I trust you as far as I can throw you, and you probably weigh a heck of a lot and I couldn't even lift you. That's how much I trust you. And then there's the other guy that kind of appears to be the bad guy. He's giving, you know, both of them are giving red flags, but this guy has like obvious red flags that seem very purposeful. And I'm like, I don't think you're as bad as you're pretending to be. I think you might just be the good one. And every time they interact, I'm like, oh my god. And then there's the walking red flag who has tried to camouflage his red flags that I do not trust. And I want to scream at her every time she interacts with him, because it did not go the way that I wanted it to, romance-wise, very recently in like the last thing I read, because I was like, why did you do that with that person? Why not the other person? You know, that hurt. So I really hope that changes. I also know that the second book came out very, very recently, and I have a very strong sense that this is going to end on a massive cliffhanger, which means that I am going to want to jump into the next one immediately. I might just finish this tonight in bed before I sleep, because I do want to read a couple more chapters before I sleep. You would think that I would be tired of reading after 3 days, 24 hours stretched over 3 days, about 8 hours reading a day. Yesterday I read more than 8 hours, so I had less hours today, but you know, I fear I'm obsessed, so there's no stopping me once I've gotten going. But it's late. I do want to get ready for bed and snuggle in and then get a couple of really good hours of sleep, and then I'll like sum these 24 hours up tomorrow morning. 3 days, 24 hours and 5 books. That's a wrap for this readathon. I read some great books. I mean, we had a not so great book. We started out with a not so great book, which kind of made it a bit tough to get into the readathon. Not the best start, but then towards the end we really got going. And Seventh of Earth, yeah, I did stay up and finish it last night. I did do that. I need the second book immediately, like immediately. This FMC, she had an arc, and where that arc ended at the end of this first book, I was shook. I sat and I was like, bloody, gory, horrible at times, but also absolutely incredible. And I definitely know who I want her to end up with, but it's definitely a slow burn. The romance is definitely not the main focus at all. It is very much a subplot, but it's the best type of subplot, because every time they interact, you're like, you know. 5 stars. there's no comments, no critiques. 5 stars. It had me hooked from the very beginning. I love this, and again, OG book talk vibes, like more books like this, please. I'm still very much sick. When I woke up and spoke on the phone with my grandmother, my voice was it was not functioning, and I'm still like, the more I talk, the more I'm gonna cough. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna get healthy. I'm gonna wait at my door for the next book after Seventh of Earth, because I won't be able to sleep until I have it in my hands. On that note, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, have a nice day, a nice week, a nice month. Be kind to each other always, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.